Coming up on Vegas Nation Game Day, we help you get ready for the Raiders game against the Denver Broncos. And running back Devontae Booker shares some insights on his former team.
Really, I think I was just still coming around as a runner, even though I didn't really get the carries that I thought I should have had.
Our fast takes and smart coverage kicks off right now.
This is Vegas Nation Game Day. Brought to you by Meineke and your local Meineke dealers. When you shop for quality, shop Meineke.
The Vegas Nation crew is at Allegiant Stadium this morning, where at 1 o'clock this afternoon, the Raiders will host the Denver Broncos for the very first time in Las Vegas. Happy Sunday. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Cassie Soto here with Review Journal NFL writer Adam Hill.
Yeah, thanks, Cassie. The Raiders are now 5-3 thanks to their ability to hang on in the closing seconds against the Los Angeles Chargers last week. Today, they face Drew Lock and the struggling Denver Broncos.
A dancing Drew Lock, Adam.
Yes.
We at Vegas Nation Game Day are glad that you are here, whether you're joining us on Cox YourView, Facebook, YouTube, or VegasNation.com. We will get you ready for the game, and we'll look at a few things that we hope will put a smile on your face this morning. Now let's go ahead and go live to Allegiant Stadium, where our teammates Heidi Fang, Ed Graney, and Vinny Bonsignor are standing by with some storylines. Heidi, take it away.
Thank you, Cassie. We're out here at Allegiant Stadium, just like you said, and we're going to first, before we look at the game ahead, look back. So, Vinny, what did the Raiders get right at the Chargers game?
Well, I think with a depleted offensive line again, they were down to their backups at right tackle and left tackle. They did just enough. They were able to run for 160 yards. It wasn't a great throwing game for Derek Carr. They didn't really need to. So they controlled the game on the ground. I thought it got away a little bit for them in the second half, where the Chargers sort of turned the tables on them. They started doing Raider-like things in the second half: ball control, running the ball, maintaining possession of the ball, and it kind of bit the Raiders a little bit. They had to obviously survive at the very end. They did. They get the win to move on to 5-3, and the Denver Broncos with the Chiefs looming a week from now. But they did just enough. But again, this is a very depleted Raiders team. It showed down the stretch against the Chargers. They need to avoid that kind of a second half fall against the Broncos.
Okay, Ed, so what do they do here to get that W?
Heidi, there's a reason they're 4.5-point favorites. It's one of the few times they've been favored. Look, they're better than the Broncos. Now you just have to go prove it. Drew Lock, you can blitz them. I know Vinny's going to talk about that later. We'll talk about it all show here. They're the better team. Now they just have to go prove it today by executing offensively. And this is one game where you will see the Raider defense have a chance to really stand out, but they need to go on the field and prove it.
Hey, we will be back with you here a bit later in the show, so keep it tuned right here with the Vegas Nation Game Day show. Back to you in the studio.
Heidi, thank you. Now let's go ahead and get to our third storyline. Adam, I'm not sure how many people would have believed that at this point in the season that the Raiders would be legitimate playoff contenders.
Yeah, no question about it. The way their schedule set up, we knew the first half of the season was going to be brutal. They were only favored one time in the first 8 games. Somehow they come away 5-3, and now the schedule loosens up. And take a look who's on there. They've got teams like the Colts here in Las Vegas, so that's an opportunity against another contender. They already have a win over the Browns. That's going to be one of the contenders for the wild card as well. So they've got opportunities here to win some games. Schedule's much, much easier in the second half, but that doesn't mean you automatically win. You still have to go out and win those games. Like, remember, the Raiders were underdogs before and they won. These teams that are going to be underdogs against the Raiders have a chance to win as well, and that starts today. Can they handle success? Can they win a game they're supposed to win? And that's what the Raiders have to do today.
All right, Adam. Well, let's go back to a pivotal moment real quick in the Chargers game.
Yeah, let's.
When Raiders quarterback Derek Carr took to the air to secure a first down, the SoFi leap quickly went viral here, Adam, and it inspired a question about what other athletic abilities Carr has.
Can I dunk?
Yeah, the podcasters asked that question today.
I could dunk off vert, straight up. What? The fact that's a question is kind of offensive to me. Ask Khalil Mack. He's seen me do it straight off the ground, no running start. Okay. I can go up there and dunk the ball. You give me a running start, I tell my guys whenever we play basketball, just throw it up by the rim. I'll find it.
Okay. So Carr said that he had the late Kobe Bryant on his mind when he was playing last week in LA, Adam. But you're not buying that this guy can dunk.
Okay, first of all, yes, I think he can dunk.
Okay, look at the slow-mo here.
That's
Look
not
at
the
the slow-mo.
question.
He got
That's
up.
good. He did get up, and not the proper shoes. So first of all, you got to give him credit for that. That is impressive. The question isn't, can Derek Carr dunk? I absolutely believe he could dunk. We're seeing it right there. He's a really good athlete. Of course he can. He said he could dunk vert. We have not seen evidence of this. And for those that don't know, that means standing under the rim, 2 feet together, leap straight up without running up to the rim. I am saying we need to see this to believe it. Now, here's the thing. He said Khalil Mack would vouch for him, former Raider. A lot of people tagged Khalil Mack on Twitter and said, hey, Derek Carr said you could vouch for him here. No response from Khalil Mack. So I'm saying he can't do it. And here's another thing. I'm saying maybe at some point in his career he could do it. Derek Carr's getting old now.
Oh, man.
Derek Carr is an old man now. He can't do it anymore. I'm saying at some point maybe he could.
Okay, hold on, Adam, because you said you needed to see some numbers here. Our graphics expert, Gus, here, crunched some numbers. Let's go ahead and throw these up. Look at this. This is hard work here.
This is impressive.
To see if he could straight up vert, as he said. Break down these numbers for us and the viewers at home here.
So Derek Carr is 6'3". We see that arm length there.
Yep.
So that's 2 feet, 7.25. That's impressive. So that means, if I'm reading this correctly, he needs a vertical leap of 2 feet, 10.5 inches to get there. I believe that his vertical leap at the combine was 34.5.
Hit me with the next graphic here.
So I don't know that
There
we
we
can
go.
do it. Okay. Vertical jump plus. This is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. This is
Great
so
job,
good.
Gus.
First of all, I love where we found the backboard behind him. That's impressive. That's good. But look, his hand is right there at the rim. I'm saying yes. I guess he can. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, let's see it.
According
I
to
think
our
there's
graphic.
one more here. Hypothesis: Derek Carr is throwing it down with ease, even in slides. Sorry, Adam. Dude can dunk.
That's fine.
Straight up vert.
Again, I'm gonna say this. At some point in his career, sure. At some point. He's taken a lot of wear and tear on those legs over his career.
That's true.
There's no question. We need to see this happen. And I'm saying this, Derek, we want to make this happen. Let's set up something. Let's have this go and see if we can make this work.
Challenge is on. All right. Well, later on in the show, we'll hear from Raiders head coach John Gruden, and he'll tell us what grade he gives his quarterback for his acrobatic skills. Now let's go ahead and see what the internet has been talking about. Review Journal multimedia journalist Andre Fox has this look at social media.
This social media update is sponsored by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable.
Good morning, Raider Nation. Andre Fox here with some social media for you like a fresh cup of coffee. First up, Raiders fullback Alec Ingold posted that he has partnered with the Clark County Department of Family Services to help raise awareness for their foster care and adoption programs. Now, Alec Ingold himself was adopted at birth and announced over the summer that he had partnered with Adopt Us Kids to help raise awareness for the need for more foster and adoptive families for children. This is just another example of the Raiders doing all they can to help out in the Las Vegas community in just their first year. Now, I don't think it's any secret. You see them every week. We love dogs here on Vegas Nation Game Day. There is no doubt in my mind that if she could, Cassie Soto would have both of her dogs on the show. Now let's take a look at this Raider Nation pup posted up, checking out Allegiant Stadium and the Strip. What a nice photo. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr got his next-gen console this week, but I don't think there would be any doubt he would get one in the first place. Looks like DC is Team Xbox, and that's the way to go. But I'll let the Raider Nation gamers debate on that one. Now, last week, after the Chargers game, DC also started a debate when he talked about his dunking ability, and he posted on his Facebook feed a shot of him rising up. You can tell by the way he's angled, this isn't really off-vert like he said he could do. But I think the streets need a Derek Carr hoop mixtape. But I'm not the hoops expert on the show. That's Sam. So let's send it back to Cassie at the desk.
Dre, thank you. Calling all Raiders fans, if you are fired up about your team, we want to see the proof here. And we've got some swag for you. It's the Vegas Nation Fantastic Photo Contest. Just post your photo with the hashtag VNWeek10 to enter. The winners are selected each and every Monday. Let's look at some of the photos the fans submitted this past week. Adam, let's go ahead, pop it up here. Look, getting ready for school? No, I don't think kids are going to school, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, at least you can dress up like you're going to school and pretend. Might as well. Safety, I like that. That's impressive. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat the dog, though. Like, that dog was amazing that we just saw. But, yeah, this is good. Listen, if you use kids, it's an unfair advantage.
Freddie and Chucky. This one's scary.
That's terrifying.
That is scary.
What happened to Chucky?
That's a commitment right there. I thought Chucky's Gruden, so what is this saying?
Did we cut? Are his legs cut off now?
No, I think
this is terrifying. I don't know. This is not good.
Next one. Next. I don't like it. Oh, there we go.
See this, but this is also cheating. You use the kids as the props. It's just adorable
Kids
no matter what.
Babies and dogs, I'm all about it. Look at the little Chucky, the bop or whatever they're called.
That's a much more pleasurable Chucky.
I love this.
Yeah, it's not as scary.
That's a good necklace too. Here we go. The hard hat, safety first.
Yes, I like that.
I love it.
Lots of Raiders jerseys here. Everybody very into the team for sure. And a nice happy photo.
That's a nice jacket. Good one.
That's impressive.
More babies! Yes!
Come on. This is too good.
I love this.
The kid looks posed too. The kid's like, yeah, I'm into this.
He's a model. Yeah. Well, up next on Vegas Nation Game Day, Heidi talks to broadcast legend Brent Musburger. Stay with us.
Derek Carr now in year 3 with John Gruden. That's such a big item because you recall during the offseason that everybody, and I do mean everybody in the media, seemed to be pushing Derek Carr off that cliff.
Stay on the winning page with fan fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
All we have to do is make a stop right there, and the whole complexion of this game changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignore.
Who can count on to make a big play when you need one.
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Field Pass is sponsored by Scenic Brewing Company, your neighborhood brewery and sports bar.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Cassie Soto here with Adam Hill. Adam, the Raiders have more than their fair share of legendary players and coaches, but they also have a legend in the radio booth.
Yeah, that's right. Brent Musburger, who's called everything from the Final Four to the Super Bowl, now calls games for the Silver and Black. And this week for our Field Pass, he spoke to our own Heidi Fang about one thing everyone got wrong before the season.
Derek Carr now in year 3 with John Gruden. That's such a big item because you recall during the offseason that everybody, and I do mean everybody in the media, seemed to be pushing Derek Carr off that cliff. They were, hey, maybe we should pick up Tom Brady. Hey, maybe Marcus Mariota should be the starter. All wrong. Derek Carr was never the problem with this football team. It basically boiled down to the defense needed to improve. And if they're going to make a run on the playoffs, that defense has to continue to improve starting this week against the Denver Broncos. You know, if the Broncos play the first 3 quarters like they have the fourth quarter the last 2 weeks, the Raiders are going to have more than they reckon for in this game. And oh, by the way, there's a couple of teams coming to Las Vegas, but Indianapolis and Miami. They're both battling for that wild card spot. Head-to-head is critical.
You talked about Derek Carr and how a lot of people had been very critical of his play coming into this season. What do you think has been the main change with him? Is it understanding the Gruden system after 3 years, or is it the attitude, the chip that he has on his shoulder right now?
But I think it's more he understands the system, and John has been urging him to run when the opportunity is there, take off and run. And I got to tell you, one of the guttiest runs I've seen a quarterback make this year was that 10-yard sprint for a first down just across the 5-yard line against the Chargers when we went airborne. Maybe you don't want your quarterback doing that, if you know what Derek's not the best slider. Let me just say that, okay? If there's one thing he can improve, it's the sliding ability. But Heidi, I think he and John, listen, John's system is complex, okay? He'll send you a play, but it's basically a couple of plays. And then you'll see Derek back off. You'll see him go from under center back to the gun. After he looks at the defense, he makes the final decision up at the line of scrimmage. John has always called plays that way, and he's been very successful with it.
It's the scoop on the Broncos from someone who covers the team as we flip the field.
That's right, guys. It's Flip the Field. So let's welcome into the show our friend Nate Kreckman of Altitude Sports Radio, 92.5 FM in Denver. Nate, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
What's up, Ed? It's good to be here.
Good to see you. Listen, the Broncos are 3-5, but this is a team that started the season 0-3. Tell us what's changed of late to allow the results in the scoreboard to be at least a little better than what we saw in the beginning.
Drew Lock got healthy. I think that's the biggest thing with the Broncos is they actually have a healthy and consistent and semi-improving quarterback right now. Lock's a young player. He's got a long way to go. It's pretty evident. He's been pretty bad the first halves of games, really first 3 quarters of games here over the last couple of weeks. But he came back and he beat the Chargers. He came back and at least got within a touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons last week. So he's playing a little bit better defensively. They've been a bit more consistent. And really, this is just a super, super young team that is starting to grow up. They've been beset by injuries. Plus, the schedule was difficult early on in the season. They had to play Tennessee. They had to play Pittsburgh. They had to play Tampa Bay early on. So put it all together, you have an improving team with still, I would say, a very long way to go.
You mentioned the injuries. The main one, obviously, Von Miller. When someone like this is lost for the season, it certainly seems to change the entire dynamic of a defense. How has that affected Denver's defense to the one we've come to know that's been so impressive the last recent years?
They have no pass rush, really, or at least no consistent pass rush. Bradley Chubb has played better. He was coming off a torn ACL. He started the season very, very slowly. He has been better here over the last 4 games. He started to get to the quarterback. Malik Reed, a guy the Mountain West fans will know from Nevada, undrafted guy Malik Reed, has had to fill in for Von Miller, and he's actually done quite well. He's got 5 sacks so far here on the season, but they've just gotten torn up by injuries, especially along their defensive line.
Last thing I have for you, Raiders and Broncos, lots of classic games. How do Denver fans really feel about this Las Vegas' new NFL franchise in terms of a significant rival?
Don't care. It's what's crazy about it is, look, you got the old timers, the orange crush, orange and blue until they die kind of fans that will always hate the silver and black with every bit of their soul. But Ed, let's be honest about what this rivalry has been here, at least over the last half decade, really over the last 15 to 20 years. The Raiders stunk for a long time, and now the Broncos haven't been good for a solid chunk of time right here. They haven't played high leverage games in the last several seasons, and I think that's kind of caused it to die down a little bit. People are always going to hate the Raiders in Denver. Don't get me wrong, but it just isn't quite there. Here's another thing. We were talking about this on our talk show today, Ed. Who hates Vegas? Everybody loves Vegas. You can hate Oakland, but everybody's had a good time before in Vegas. What's there to hate about Vegas? So,
well, I know you love it. I know you love coming.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time. So put it all together, and the rivalry it's not terribly heated. Do you feel it for Raider Nation right now for the Broncos?
No, not really. They're 5-3. I think they're just trying to get to a wild card at this point, Nate. I think anything's in front of them. They think they can make the playoffs for the first time, 16 and then 0-2. So it's been so long. I'm not sure they're even looking at who they're playing. I think they're just trying to win as many to where at the end of the season they can be in the discussion.
Yeah, it's coaches just trying to build things from season to season right now. And that way, I kind of think these teams are in sort of similar spots, although I would certainly say the Raiders in better shape at quarterback.
Well, listen, man, we appreciate the time. It really helps us out. Thanks, Nate. Take care of yourself.
Anytime, Ed. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Flip the Field with Nate Kreckman from Denver Sports Radio. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ed. Now we continue our fast takes and smart coverage of today's game with Review Journal sports reporter Sam Gordon. He has crunched the numbers, and he found one area the Raiders can attack this week.
On our numbers segment last week, we broke down the advantages the Raiders' defensive line was going to have against the Chargers' offensive line, but Justin Herbert was still able to pass for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the Raiders' passing defense has been far from stellar so far through the first half of the season. But there is an antidote for that passing defense in the same way there was an antidote for that pass rush. That antidote is Denver's passing offense. Through 8 games, the Broncos sport the league's most ineffective passing offense, in large part due to the struggles of second-year quarterback Drew Lock. Lock this season leads the NFL in bad throw percentage per Pro Football Reference and delivers inaccurate passes a league-high 25.7% of the time. His throws are on target a mere 65.6% of the time. That mark ranks dead last amongst the NFL's qualified passers. As a result, Lock is last in the NFL in completion percentage among qualified passers at 56.5, and his passer rating is 31st at 73.6. He's also 29th in touchdown percentage, finding pay dirt with a mere 3.1% of his throws. He is top 10 in one passing stat, though, albeit one you don't want to be in the top 10 of. That's interception percentage, in which he ranks 8th with a mark of 3.1%. The Raiders figure to have plenty of opportunities to make plays in the secondary and at the line of scrimmage when it comes to Denver's passing offense. Should they execute and capitalize, it will significantly bolster their chances to win yet another key AFC West game Sunday afternoon at Allegiant Stadium. I'm Sam Gordon. Those are the numbers. Back to you in the studio.
When we come back, J.R. Starkus pours us this week's Vegas Nation cocktail.
But first, here's this week's NFL trivia question.
NFL Trivia is presented by Attack Law. The best defense is a good offense. Which baseball team drafted John Elway in 1981? Was it the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Yankees, the San Francisco Giants, or the Texas Rangers?
Stay on the winning page with fan fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
All we have to do is make a stop right there, and the whole complexion of this game changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor.
Who do you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
You can read more about today's matchup between the Raiders and the Broncos in a special game day section in today's Review Journal. Raiders assistant coach Tom Cable has done a masterful job juggling an offensive line that has been decimated by injuries this season. We'll tell you how he has done that. And last April, the Raiders had to choose between 2 Alabama receivers, Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. Sam Gordon checks in with how Jeudy is performing in Denver. It's all in the special game day section of today's Review Journal, available on newsstands now, or you can start a subscription by visiting reviewjournal.com. Welcome back, and if you're ready for an adult beverage, we don't judge you here on Vegas Nation Game Day. So J.R. Starkus has this Vegas Nation cocktail, and this one has a Nevada connection.
Welcome back, Vegas Nation. J.R. Starkus with Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits back again with your Week 10 cocktail called the Gold Rush. The Gold Rush is a great bourbon cocktail, and for this one, I'm going to use Nevada's very own Frey Ranch bourbon. This is made right up in Fallon, Nevada, a bourbon that we can call our own now. This is incredible stuff, made locally, and so if you like to support local, this is the way to go. Easy drink. Watch how we do it. 2 ounces of Frey Ranch bourbon into our shaking tin. We're going to add 1 ounce, or excuse me, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice and 3/4 of an ounce of fresh honey syrup. To make honey syrup, you just mix honey and hot water together until it dissolves. If you just use honey, it will not work because it will stick to your mixing tin. It won't assimilate into the cocktail. At this point, we can add some ice to our tin, and we'll shake this drink and we'll strain it over fresh ice. So give it a nice shake. And then we will strain this cocktail into a rocks glass right over some fresh ice to finish this cocktail off. All right, so we will strain right over fresh ice. Garnish would be a lemon wheel or lemon wedge, something like that, right into the side of the glass. And that is a Gold Rush cocktail for Week 10. Cheers.
Well, now that we have our drink, let's go ahead and turn our focus back to today's game. Our own Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor are live at Allegiant Stadium, and they have this look at the Broncos. Guys.
Thanks, team. Vinny, these are not Peyton Manning or John Elway's Denver Broncos. Not at all. They've had their fair share of struggles on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. What can you tell us about this year's group?
Well, make no mistake, there are some players to be aware of. Bradley Chubb can be a difference maker defensively. Jerry Jeudy, Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon offensively. The problem is they're getting virtually nothing from their quarterback position. Drew Lock has been downright bad this year in his second season. Under 60% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. That's not going to get it done. A guy that beyond his first read is not very good. He doesn't play well under pressure. So all of these things have conspired against the Broncos at the quarterback position, and that's why they're 3-5. And it gives the Raiders certainly an opportunity to be able to get after him, make life difficult for him, maybe force some turnovers, and make it a little bit easier for themselves this week. But that's vital that they do that because they're playing a quarterback that's vulnerable to all of those things. So if they can get after him a little bit, they're going to have a much easier afternoon. But if they can't, then they may make a bad quarterback look good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is still a divisional game. You expect that the Broncos, they are familiar with the Raiders. You expect them to play somewhat competitively this afternoon. What do the Raiders need to do to ensure that there's not an upset here today at Allegiant Stadium?
Hold down the fort defensively. Get after, maybe some blitzes to make life difficult for Drew Lock. He doesn't play well under pressure. So if you could create even just a little bit of it, the Raiders have had difficulty doing that. They're getting better at it, but if they could do just a little bit of it, they'll be okay. Now, offensively, they're going to have to overcome some injuries. Likely it's going to be a stadium day question as far as Gabe Jackson, as far as Colton Miller. So we'll see where the offensive line is once they get to the stadium here today. But they're going to have to overcome. They're going to have to do what they do offensively, even in spite of some depleted offensive line. They've done that pretty well this year. They got to continue to do it now.
We'll have more from Allegiant Stadium later in the show.
The Raiders have a 1:05 p.m. kickoff. That means there is plenty of time to place your bets. Review Journal sports betting reporter Todd Dewey is here to help with that. He joins us now from the Mirage. Todd, what is happening with today's line?
Well, the Raiders opened up as 5-point favorites across Las Vegas, Cassie. 4.5 here at the BetMGM Sportsbook at the Mirage, which took a 6-figure bet on Las Vegas at that number. But the number has dropped to 3.5 around town as sharp bettors are all over the Broncos in this one. The Raiders have covered the last 5 meetings and 4 straight at home. But one odds maker I spoke with think the Raiders could be ripe for a letdown coming off their big win on the road and favored at home for the first time this season. The total is at 50.5 after it was as high as 52. There's been sharp action both over and under the total. The last 7 meetings between these teams have gone under, but they've been trending over this season with a combined 11-4-1 over-under record. The over is 6-1-1 in Raiders games, and 3 straight Broncos games have gone over. A wise man once said, life is too short to bet the under. Hope all your wagers are winners, Cassie.
Todd, thank you so much as always. Well, remember, Todd will be doing a recap of today's betting action, and our own Jim Barnes is writing a Bad Beats blog on the NFL games. You'll find that all and more at reviewjournal.com.
We hope you like what you've seen so far in Vegas Nation Game Day, and there's more fast takes and smart coverage ahead. Ed Graney will tell us which Raiders got the job done in the first half of the season. We'll hear from Raiders running back and former Denver Bronco Devontae Booker. And coming up after the break, Kevin Cannon will introduce us to a very special lady who had a wish come true. We'll be right back.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
All we have to do is make a stop right there, and the whole complexion of this game changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor.
Who can count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Bang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day, presented by Meineke and your local Meineke dealers. When you shop for quality, shop Meineke.
NFL Trivia is presented by Attack Law. The best defense is a good offense. The answer is B, the New York Yankees. Elway played 1 season in the minors for the Yankees before winning 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos.
Cassie Soto here with Adam Hill. So far this season, Review Journal photographer Kevin Cannon has taken the Vegas Nation truck to Allegiant Stadium for a UNLV game. He has taken it to the iconic Welcome to Las Vegas sign to talk to Raiders fans.
Yeah, but this week he took the truck on a very important mission to help fulfill a wish for a special young lady.
Hi, Cassie. Vegas Nation is partnering with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and today we're leading a car parade to deliver a golden retriever puppy to a very special girl.
On this day, November 14, 2020, Make-A-Wish Southern Nevada hereby announces that your wish to have a golden retriever puppy is coming true.
so soft and so fluffy. Have someone to bond with as I go through treatment and to just give loves to and cuddles.
Puppies on a Sunday. It doesn't get any better than that, Adam.
I might have to go get another puppy now
Me
on
too.
the third.
Bring them in.
Yeah.
When the Raiders take the field for today's AFC West matchup against the Denver Broncos, they might have a secret weapon in running back Devontae Booker.
Yeah, Booker spent 4 seasons with the Broncos before joining the Silver and Black this offseason. And here's what Booker had to say about the game this week.
You know, it's just another game. Of course, everybody, you know, when they play their ex-team, they want revenge and all this extra stuff. But, you know, just for me, it's just another game and just got to go out and execute, like I said, and, you know, come out with a win. You know, it's just showing everybody that I can play and, you know, and I can contribute the way that I am. And, you know, it just, you know, it's never been going unnoticed here. And, you know, like I said, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to go out and do what I can do. Just a little bit, I guess. You know, knowing that I didn't play there 4 years and stuff like that. But, like, of course, I want to go out and win and beat these guys. But, you know, I only could talk about it so much. We just got to go out there and, you know, we got to go out there and win and do it on all cylinders.
It may be hard to believe, but the Raiders are already halfway through their season. Heidi Fang joins us now live with Ed Graney, who has taken a look at who's excelling so far and who isn't. Heidi, take it away.
Thanks, Cassie. So here we are back at Allegiant. Ed Graney, Heidi Fang with your midseason grades with the Raiders. And Ed, right now, I think we have an overachiever in the class. Who is that?
Absolutely, Nelson Aguilar. Listen, Nelson Aguilar was going to be a veteran to come in and spot guys, maybe like Hunter Renfrow and others, but then Terrell Williams went down. What happened? Nelson Aguilar has completely stepped up. He's an overachiever in this team so far, leads the team with 5 touchdown receptions. Think about this now, under $1 million guaranteed. And in this league, when you're under $1 million guaranteed and you already have 5 touchdown catches, you are an overachiever.
Definitely so. Great offseason pickup. Now we have the underachiever to look at. Another offseason acquisition, this time in the defense. Who are you going with, Ed?
Corey Littleton, the linebacker. Look, he just hasn't played up to the contract yet now. He's on the COVID-19 list. He will miss today's game against Denver. Corey Littleton was brought in as an all-pro linebacker, great in coverage. He has not been good so far for the Raiders. He needs to pick it up in the second half of the season. Good thing Nick Kwiatkowski has come in also as a guy who's also an overachiever and picked up the slack there at linebacker.
Okay, now if we have somebody to watch in the second half of the season, what player would it be?
I'm looking at rookie Damon Arnett. He's off the injured list for today. We think he's going to play. We don't know how much. They need Damon Arnett to come in. Nevin Lawson has really struggled of late at corner. They need Damon Arnett to be good, to be the first-round pick that he is, and we'll see him coming off the injury. But that's someone to watch in the second half of the season because they're going to have to get better defensively.
Okay, last thing here. Ed, you have coaches to grade. What coaches do you think we need to put in the spotlight right now?
We gave 0 to 5 helmets in the paper today, 2 helmets to the defensive coaches. Hey, I'm sorry about that. They just haven't played good enough defense. Paul Gunther is the coordinator, and all his assistants need those guys to play better as the season goes on. You're going to get there if you play good enough defense in terms of the playoffs, a wild card, whatever. However they get there, they've got to be better defensively. So, yeah, the 2 helmets go to the defensive coaches. It's a tough grade. It's a tough grading system. I apologize.
All right. Well, there you have it from Allegiant Stadium. We'll be back with you a bit later in the show. Back to you in the studio.
Heidi, thank you. If you want to read more of Ed's mid-season ratings, you can find a special Vegas Nation section, tongue twister there, in today's Review Journal. It's available on newsstands now, or start a subscription at reviewjournal.com. Well, let's go ahead and get a status check, Adam. First, the good news. It looks like rookie cornerback Damon Arnett will be taking the field today.
Yeah, activated off of IR. We don't exactly know how much he'll be able to play. I expect them to start him, see how long he can go, and listen, knowing him, he's a guy that's played through injuries before, similar injuries even in college. So I think he's probably going to try to go the whole way if he can. And the Raiders are going to be happy to have him back. They have struggled in the secondary. He wasn't necessarily dominating when he left, but he was showing some very positive signs. And I think they just want to have him out there just to continue to acclimate him to the NFL.
Well, now the bad news, as Ed touched on it a little bit, the Raiders will be without linebacker Corey Littleton, who is on that reserve COVID-19 list.
Yeah, not available today. And as Ed mentioned, Corey Littleton has not quite been the player they hoped him to be when they brought him in. When they signed him to this big free agent contract, they expected him and Kwiatkowski to hold down that linebacking core. Kwiatkowski has been good when he's on the field. Littleton just hasn't quite been the same player. I think just learning a new system, figuring out the role that they want him in, just hasn't been there. But they're going to have to do without him today, and that means a whole lot of guys trying to fill in. Nick Morrow probably gets the first shot, and we'll see a guy like Raekwon McMillan. Maybe he gets some opportunities as well. We'll find out what they do at that linebacker position. But listen, Corey Littleton has not been great, so it's not a huge loss, but he is a very solid player.
Let's go ahead and take you across the league. Adam, the Indianapolis Colts, who will play the Raiders in a little less than a month from now, went into Nashville on Thursday and kicked off things against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, they did in a big matchup for that division. Basically playing for first place in the division, and the Colts got the win. The Colts, one of the best defenses in the league. I will say the best defense in the National Football League. They won this game with special teams. The offense was okay, defense was good, but special teams saved the day for them. And it was really Tennessee messing up on special teams. Missed field goal, block punt that went for a touchdown. It was all about special teams for the Colts, and they got that victory.
And meanwhile, the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers got some great news about their quarterback, Adam.
Yeah, no practice this week for Ben Roethlisberger. He was on the COVID list, but he is going to be able to play. He's off the list. Not a whole lot of reps, but I think he's been there in his career before, had a lot of injuries that he's dealt with. I think the bigger thing for him is not really the lack of reps, it's the fact that he hurt his knee last week. He played through it, but no practice and not having that full strength on the knee. A lot of questions here for the Steelers, but they are still undefeated, and I think they're very happy with where they are right now.
Well, up next on Vegas Nation Game Day, we'll hear what the Raiders had to say this week about Derek Carr's leap. Stay tuned.
Paul, I'll tell you what, I love this place. I love the people. I love, we talked about it too. Like it's such a community. Like everybody knows everybody. Like every business guy I've ever met. Like they're like, oh, I know so and so. All the pastors I meet, oh yeah, I know that guy. I know that guy. They all know each other.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
All we have to do is make a stop right there, and the whole complexion of this game changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignore.
Who you can count on to make a big play when you need one.
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Today's replay is sponsored by De Castro Verde Law Group. Our motivation is you.
In the history between the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders, the Raiders hold a 64-53-2 lead in the all-time regular season series against the Denver Broncos. They have met for a total of 120 games. Both teams are part of the American Football League when it came into existence in 1960. Their first meeting took place on October 2nd, 1960, and the Broncos took the victory 31-14. Since 2016, the Raiders have not lost a game against the Broncos at home, though Denver won the last matchup between the two teams. Currently, quarterback Derek Carr is 5-6 all-time against the Broncos, and head coach John Gruden is 3-11. Running back Devontae Booker came to the Raiders in 2020 after spending his first 4 seasons with the Denver Broncos. The two teams have been division rivals for some time. In a recent incident back on November 26, 2017, Broncos cornerback Aqib Talib and Raiders wide receiver Michael Crabtree engaged in a brawl stemming from a 2016 game where Talib yanked Crabtree's chain off his neck. Each player was suspended 1 game apiece for their role in the brawl. These two teams have met 2 times in the playoffs. In 1978, the Broncos defeated the Raiders 20-17, and in 1994, the Raiders took home the victory 42-24. As for win streaks, the Raiders own the longest win streak in the division rivalry with 14 wins to the Broncos' 8. And that'll do it for this Game Day replay. We'll be back next week.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. Earlier in the show, we discussed Derek Carr's leap from last weekend's game against the Chargers. Now, let's hear how those closest to him grade his skills.
You're funny. I probably give it a 9.5. I don't know. I would like to see him land on his feet for a perfect 10, but it's a great effort. You know, we've talked about Derek scrambling and creating more offense with his legs. I think he's rushed for 10 or 11 first downs now. That's consecutive weeks he's converted a play on his own on 3rd down and 10 plus. So that's a huge winning edge for us right now is Carr's improvisation and scrambling ability. And as long as he protects himself and protects the ball, that's the most important thing.
Well, for one, I knew it was coming when I saw something, but I can't give that away. But when I saw it, I'm like, uh-oh, don't get hit. I just didn't, I ain't want anybody landing on him. But I'm going to have to give him a 10 on that. I've seen him, do it a couple times, but I'm going to give a 10 on that. I wasn't expecting that first.
Well, Adam, now that the Raiders have had their say, whose turn is it next?
It's the internet's turn to be heard. Let's get a look at some social media.
This social media update is sponsored by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable.
First up is Harry Ruiz of La Nacion Raider, who has appeared on Game Day before. He looks at a couple of trends in this series, Adam.
Yeah, Raiders and Broncos have split their season series. The past 5 seasons, home team won each game the last 4 years. I read that. You can see that on the screen. But yeah, it's been a very close series recently. We heard Heidi talk about the history and where it stands, but yeah, recently it's home team's win, so that's a good sign for the Raiders.
Well, up next is somebody named Bronco Babe, who shows a household divided between the Raiders and the Broncos. Do I bear any resemblance to either of these people?
These people look familiar, and they look like maybe if you combine them, you'd have you.
Maybe.
I believe this is your parents. And I do want to point this out, though. Awesome photo, great, and cool that you can see a marriage work out despite the mixed allegiances here. But this was sent to me.
It was sent to you.
So clearly we know who the favorite on the show is.
The favorite child?
For sure. That's definitely to me, not to you.
Yeah, it's always an interesting day for sure in the Soto household when the Broncos and Raiders play each other. And we get it twice, so that's nice. Well, next up, our own Ed Graney has some hot takes on a Raiders assistant coach with a long resume.
Thanks, Cassie. Hey, everyone. Rod Marinelli is the defensive line coach for the Raiders, still spry afoot at age 71, and a former head coach and defensive coordinator in the NFL. In the latest edition of the RJ magazine, I profiled Rod and his daughter Gina, executive chef and owner of La Strega, a charming Italian restaurant in Summerlin, born from Gina's vision and inspired by her many trips throughout assorted regions of Italy. It's a story of football, family, and food, about a daughter's love for the most majestic of cuisines and her father's place among the very best who have coached the game. Rod is in his first season with the Raiders, having also coached under John Gruden years ago when both were winning a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's been a tough sledding so far for the Las Vegas defensive front. The Raiders haven't been able to generate a consistent pass rush at all most weeks. The Raiders need better results from all names up and down the front, from second-year players like Max Crosby and Cleveland Ferrell to veterans like Malik Collins and Carl Nassib. Nobody's above improvement at this point. At 5-3 and about to begin the season's second half with a game against Denver at Allegiant Stadium today, being able to at least pressure opposing quarterbacks at some level could go a long ways in determining whether or not the Raiders make the playoffs. If not, it won't be for a lack of trying by the old ball coach Rod Marinelli. On any list of the best defensive line coaches in history, Rod Marinelli's name is there. He's one of the finest one to have ever done it. Started his job at Rosemead High in Los Angeles. That was his first coaching stop in 1973. The school's field is now named for him. Rod has got to smell the grass, Raiders general manager Mike Mayock said of Marinelli. He coaches up the free agent kid from the school nobody ever heard of just as hard as he coaches the first-round draft pick from the big school. He loves football and he cares about the kids. He cares what kind of fathers they are, what kind of husbands they are, what kind of brothers they are. Rada's the only one allowed to curse at them, Mayock said. They're his guys. You know, that's a side I also discovered with Marinelli when researching the story on he and Gina. The most intense and fiery of football coaches on the field are often the most understanding and affable off of it. As Gina describes Marinelli as one of the most intelligent people she has ever been around. A coach inside and yet incredibly supportive on the outside. If you'd like to read Rod and Gina's story and aren't yet a Review Journal subscriber, please consider being so by going to checkout.reviewjournal.com, where local journalism really still matters. It makes a difference, everyone. I'm Ed Graney, and those are my hot takes.
There's still so much more to come on Vegas Nation Game Day. We'll be right back.
Stay on the winning page with fan fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
All we have to do is make a stop right there, and the whole complexion of this game changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignore.
Who do you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
The Road Ahead is sponsored by the Richard Harris Law Firm. Just in case. Injured? Call 444-4444.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. Remember, even after the show is done, you can keep up with our fast takes and smart coverage at vegasnation.com. Adam, the road ahead brings Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to Allegiant Stadium next week for a prime time matchup.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, this is a team that's going to want revenge. I would think their only loss of the season so far is against the Raiders in Kansas City. They're not going to want to let the Raiders sweep that season series and, by the way, have that tiebreaker edge. So I think the Chiefs are going to be very, very motivated when they come to town.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's head back out to Allegiant Stadium for some final thoughts on today's game with Heidi Fang, Ed Graney, and Vinny Bonsignore. Heidi.
Hey, thanks to everybody. So we're here at Allegiant. It's our last look now at the game, and I'm going to be looking at Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. The two former Alabama players will now be on the same field today, and the consensus number one leading into the NFL draft was Jerry Jeudy. So I want to see how it pans out now that we had wide receiver Henry Ruggs picked as the number one overall wide receiver in the draft. I want to see how their stat line compares. Vinny, what are you looking toward to?
Look, the Raiders have played a whole bunch of good quarterbacks this year. Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, to name a few. Drew Lock, the Broncos quarterback, is not one of them. The Raiders need to make a bad quarterback look bad. There's no way a mediocre quarterback should come into Allegiant Stadium and look good. If they allow that to happen, they're in for a long afternoon and an embarrassing afternoon. They need to make sure that a bad quarterback just plays bad. And if they do, it'll be an easy afternoon for them.
All right, Ed, what do you have?
Devontae Booker, former Bronco. We're going to see how he does against his former team. He's done a nice job backing up Josh Jacobs this season. We'll see if it continues.
Okay, there you have it from Allegiant Stadium. Now back to you in the studio.
Adam, thank you, Heidi. Adam, now let's go ahead and get your final thoughts about this matchup.
Yeah, listen, how do they handle success? This is a team that hasn't been expected to win a game since week one, according to the odds makers. Today, they're favored. Can you win when you're supposed to? That is the next step in being a playoff contending type team. And we're going to find out today if the Raiders are able to do that.
What kind of dance moves do you think Drew Lock is going to hit us with today? That's the question. That's what we haven't talked about all show.
He tried. I think most people have seen his last attempt to dance went a little bit viral. Listen, I can't dance, but I don't try to do it on national television like he did during the game. I think there was just excitement, though, right? If you just get excited, you get emotional, you're like, all right, I'm going to dance right now. I think you might want to take that one back. But he gave it a good effort. It was impressive.
Who's a better rapper, do you think, Derek Carr or Drew Lock?
I haven't heard Derek try to rap. I've heard Drew. Like, he's bad.
But it's good. It definitely makes for good TV.
Yeah,
for sure.
But listen, he tries to rap, he tries to dance. It's fun. It's good. Then you got Derek Carr dunking. I think we can make like a video of some sort of all this.
Exactly. Well, we want to just bring up the stat again where the Raiders have only won one game at home. Do you think today they maybe get a win at home, try to get another W at Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, I think it's time to establish that home field advantage. Establish Allegiant Stadium as a place nobody wants to go play. You mentioned one win at home. They're 4-1 on the road, 1-2 at home. But let's look at who they played at home.
1-0 in Grapple.
They are 1-0 in Grapple. They're good when they played in Cleveland, which they might have Grapple again today, by the way, something to watch for. But the Raiders have had to play the Buccaneers, one of the better teams in the league. The Bills, who have a very, very good record, of course. They had the Saints come into town, one of the better teams in the league as well. So these are all championship contending type teams. Today they get a team that is not on that level. So it's your chance to set Allegiant Stadium as, hey, this is, even though there's no fans, it's not, they don't have the crowd noise, anything like that. It's a tough place to come in and win games. The Raiders want to do that. I know Derek Carr talked about that this week. He said, at Fresno State, we had a rule, do not lose at home, ever. Defend your turf. That's how most teams try to look at it. The Raiders want to establish that today.
Fresno State came in here the other week and was like, do not lose at Allegiant Stadium.
That was
also,
their rule
apparently.
there, yes, so far. So yeah, it's actually been a tough go for both teams at Allegiant Stadium so far.
All right, and just your final thoughts again here, Adam. Let's go ahead and look at it. We won't do any predictions here, but if you had to just, maybe lean one way or the other, what are you saying?
It's a big opportunity for the Raiders. It's not a must-win game. Like it's not really that type of situation.
We're not in that part of the season just yet.
But they've got to win this game. You can't, if you believe you're a playoff contender, this is a game you got to not only win, but dominate. Establish early that you are the better team, that you're not going to let them be around, and don't let them even hang around in the game.
All right. Well, do not forget, if you want to read more about today's game, you can find a special game day section in today's Review Journal, available now on newsstands or by visiting and subscribing to reviewjournal.com. That will do it for this edition of Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Cassie Soto. He's Adam Hill. For our entire Vegas Nation team, thank you so much for watching.